Welcome to the 10-Minute Car Sales Talk Podcast, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is, here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron.
Welcome back to another episode of the 10-Minute Car Sales Talk Podcast. I'm Terry Cameron. This week, we're going to talk about this phrase that I've heard several times over the past couple weeks that really bothered me. And that phrase is burnout, job burnout. Now, I don't want to lessen the effects of job burnout, but I also want you to understand that you can't be burned out if you've never been on fire. All the research that I've done, and we're going to discuss this throughout this episode, but all the research that I've done on burnout, it seems to affect high achievers, not the people that just sold 3 cars last month, not the people that haven't hit their bonus lately, not the people that are showing up for work late and just waiting for the paycheck. It's the high achievers that are affected by burnout. Hey, and I feel them. You know, I've been doing this for 30 years. So that means for 30 years, I've started 360 months at zero. Work your butt off to have a great month, and you're back at zero again. You've all heard it, hero to zero. But 360 times, that can start to wear on you. Unless, of course, you really love what you're doing. Mayo Clinic says that job burnout is a special type of work-related stress. It's a state of physical or emotional exhaustion that also involves a sense of reduced accomplishments and a loss of personal identity. They go on to pose some questions, and they say, ask yourself these questions. Have you become cynical or critical at work? Uh-oh. I think I could probably answer yes to that quite a few times. Am I burned out? Do you drag yourself to work and have trouble getting started? Well, in my opinion, the people that drag themselves to work are my below average employees. The ones that aren't very excited about coming to work in the first place. Have you become irritable or impatient with coworkers, customers, or clients? Duh. It's the car business. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of demand to perform. Remember, if you don't work, you don't get paid. Do you lack the energy to be consistently productive? Well, again, in 30 years, I've seen that day in and day out with the same people all the time, and these people were never on fire before. They can't be burned out. Do you find it hard to concentrate? You know, I also find that my high achievers that I've worked with in the past always had a problem concentrating. They were my ADD employees. Or back when I was a kid, we were called just hyperactive. Do you feel disillusioned about your job? I'll leave that one to you. Are you using food, drugs, or alcohol to feel better or to simply not feel? I think that's part of life. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be burned out to use those. If that's the case, man, I burned out and am nothing but ashes right now. So, again, I don't want to lessen the effects and the true diagnosis of burnout. But I only hear the person that just sold 3 or 4 cars the past month and the month before, and sold 7 or 8 cars the month before that, the low achievers, the below average achievers, when they tell me they're burned out, man, I'm just ready to kick them in the butt and tell them to go find another place to hang their hat. The high achievers, the ones that are always put in the work, day in and day out, the ones that come to work, the ones that are selling 15, 20 plus cars every single month and they've been doing it for a long time, yeah, I can understand burnout sometimes, but as a manager, as a general manager, as a dealer, whatever, you have to recognize those signs on your high achievers and give them a break. Cut them a break. Quit pushing them so hard. They're high achievers because they want to be high achievers. You don't have to push them. They know what they have to do to continue to sell the amount of cars and make the amount of money that they have been making. So they're not going to slack off, but they do need a break every once in a while. I also read that burnout is one of those road hazards in life that high achievers really should keep a close eye out for. But sadly, often because of their I-can-do-everything personalities, they rarely see it coming. I find that one hard to believe. I think that if you're a high achiever and you're working really hard, burnout never happens. Now, I'm not a doctor. I know that. But I've been in this life for a long time, and I've witnessed too many different types of personalities, burnouts, non-burnouts, whatever. We all get tired every once in a while. I don't call that burnout. The people that are truly burnout aren't in the business anymore. They went and found something that was easier to do, something that they could probably make a little bit less money, but they don't have a whole lot of stress. You know, the person that takes orders at a counter and gets paid hourly or salary, regardless what they do, there's no stress there. They can actually plan everything out every single month, make sure they pay their bills. It's the high achievers that are busy being high achievers, busy tracking their statistics, busy following up, busy doing what makes them successful. Well, if you're busy doing that, burnout never even comes into the picture. But at the same time, I read that burnout doesn't happen suddenly. You don't wake up one morning and all of a sudden have burnout. You know, it sneaks up on you. And I believe that the first sign to that is when you see a high achiever starting to slack. And I don't mean 1 month. We all have a subpar month. You know, and that's all relative. A subpar month for some people may be 25 cars. But we all have a subpar month sometimes. It's when we start hitting them back to back to back. That's when we got to start watching out for that stuff and maybe take a break or maybe at least back off a little bit and look at what you're doing that's causing this burnout. Maybe this isn't for you anymore. Maybe, and I believe this is where I come in, burnout fuels me. If I start to feel like, man, this business is passing me up. Maybe I'm just not as effective as I used to be as a leader, as a salesperson. Man, all I want to do was hop back on that horse and get going again. My burnout fuels me. Again, it happens to high achievers, and I'm so tired to hear below average salespeople, below average managers complain about burnout. You're not burnout. You've never been on fire. You're just probably in the wrong profession. It's time to get out. Now, I know that's blunt, but I witness this on a regular basis. Not necessarily just at my dealership, but I talk to managers all over the state on a regular basis, and I can hear what's in their voice. And being in the business this long, I pretty much know everybody that's anybody in the car business, and I hear it all the time. Well, again, guys, if that's you, if you're a high achiever and you're feeling this burnout, talk to somebody. Take a step back. Give yourself a break. Go on vacation. Reward yourself with something. Relax. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and have a beer binge night or pop a couple pills or roll a couple and smoke them. I'm not telling you to do that. I mean, you figure out what helps relax you. Maybe a nice movie, a good quiet dinner, go fishing, something. Get yourself fired up again so that you have that opportunity to get burned out again. And if, again, you are that underperformer, shut up. Quit saying you're burned out. You're not burnt out. You haven't got hot enough yet. So, okay, did I rant this episode? I believe I did. But I want you all to understand, burnout is pretty much self-inflicted, and we all get down in the dumps. That doesn't make you burned out. That just makes you down in the dumps. And I once had somebody tell me it's when things are going the worst for you, it's that time that defines you. How you handle those lulls in your life, in your work, and how you come out of it defines you. And then once you've done that, that's what you can say, I've done it. And you'll be able to see it coming next time, and you can nip it in the bud. Hey, if we all just come to work and do what we're supposed to do on a regular basis, burnout never has a chance to creep in, because this is a fun business. Think about this a little bit. I actually recommend you to listen to this again. Do a little research. Find out what you can do to keep burnout from creeping in to you or your dealership. Keep an eye on it. Remember, the sky's the limit. I'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Please rate it on iTunes and visit the 10minutesalestalk.com website to send an email. We appreciate your valuable feedback, and don't forget to share the show with a friend.